here's why, and this is Dave Uran, who Joe has no idea who you are, by the way. Who is this guy? You're in.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
Is he a good guy, bro? And I was like, yeah, no, actually, this guy's all right.
That's nice of you to say. Thank you.
But Uran, who does a great job with these Saturday updates, is from Philly. He's a Philly fan. Mm-hmm. Now, you don't like the Carlos Santana move?
Here's the thing about it. Well, first of all, I was surprised that the Phillies even made a move because they're like your Mets. They're not doing anything. But then they do this move. They give the guy 3 years, $60 million. He's 31 years old. And you already have a first baseman, Rhys Hoskins.
He's going to play the outfield.
But you already had two corner outfielders in Nick Williams, who I think is a five-tool player in the making, and Aaron Altair, who, if he's healthy, he's a decent player.
I think what this came down to, and I think the money is crazy. I think Carlos Santana is a very solid player who's normally healthy, which is one of the things that appealed to me about him. He plays 150 games a year, draws a lot of walks, so he has a high on base. He's not old. He's not 35. He's 31. The years are great. I think getting him on a 3-year deal is great. I think $20 million a year is a lot. I think this reeks of what the Nationals did when they signed Jason Worth away from you guys years ago.
Yeah.
The move to add legitimacy. The move to kind of show baseball. And I think this could be overrated sometimes, but I'm just giving you my thoughts when I saw it. You know, I think it's one of those, we got to do something, and it's not costing us 5-6 years. 3 years. See, the years part of the contract is great. The money is, it's $20 million a year.
It surprises me because it's not the new Phillies regime MO. I will like it more if they flip one of the corner outfielders, not Hoskins, either preferably Altair for a starting pitcher.
Yeah.
If they do that, then I'll like it.
Well, congratulations on the signing, all right? Because even though I didn't want Carlos Santana, I was jealous because the Phillies actually spent $60 million.
Yeah, it's surprising, isn't it?
The Mets are taking $60 million and they're pocketing it. That's pretty much their plan. That's the thing now. I'm so trained that anytime any free agent signs for any amount of money, even if I didn't want the guy, I get all ticked off. I get jealous because it's like, well, what are the Mets doing? And, when Mike came in yesterday, he shows Joe and I how the Mets sent him these really nice cufflinks. And the first response that Benigno and I have is, oh, great, there goes our second baseman. Okay, the money's been reinvested in some nice cufflinks for Mike, but not to pay anybody to play second base. God forbid they go after Zach Cozart. Anyhow, toll-free numbers brought to you by Mohegan Sun. Unlimited possibilities at MoheganSun.com. Let's get your calls. Let's kick this baby off with Luke in Malvern. Luke, good morning to you.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
What's up, baby?
Before I get to my jet point, I want to talk a bit about yesterday. That was really great, but the one line you didn't bring up that I loved was Mike saying you can't spell Francesa without F-A-N, okay?
That was pretty good, too. Yes, you're right. That may have been the trademark statement at the end. And what ruined it for me is that I was listening on the app, but I was also on Twitter, so I saw that line tweeted like seconds before he actually said it, so I had a spoiler, but it was very, very good. And it was emotional yesterday for a lot of people.
It was tough to take, and it's going to be kind of sucky without him on the air. But let me get to Wilkerson. Ev, this guy is a bum. Can we get him out of New York? He shouldn't be on a football field anymore. When we had the choice between him and Harrison that free agent year, I don't know one Jet fan that said, let's sign Harrison over Wilkerson. Every single Jet fan wanted this guy in green and white for years to come, and he's absolutely mailed it in after that contract and he got his money. I have never seen a player mail it in to this degree.
And that's what makes it so mind-boggling, because take a look at the Giants, who spent so much money on free agents last year, one of which being Snacks Harrison. When you sign a guy, and I want to give credit to Olivier Vernon, because I know he takes some crap for the comments that he made a few weeks ago, the kneeling for the anthem, but here's where I want to give Olivier Vernon a ton of credit. I want to pop him up a little bit because I think he deserves it. This guy gets paid a ton of money by a team that he wasn't playing with. It's not like the Dolphins gave him the money. The Giants gave him the money. And not only has Olivier Vernon been really good when he's been on the field last year and even this season, the first thing I heard about Vernon after he signed that contract and he was going to his first camp with the Giants after getting paid was how the guy is working his tail off. So there are some guys who get that payday, not even from the team that had him, but a different team, who almost take it as, okay, this is an obligation to prove I'm worth this contract. And then there are guys like Muhammed, where every indicator shows you that he had the opposite reaction to a contract like that. Rob in Freeport. Hey, Rob.
Hey, Evan. Good morning.
Good morning, man.
Hey, man. Yeah, what a surreal day yesterday with Mike leaving. That was sad. But,
absolutely.
Hey, regarding the Jets, I'm a huge Jet fan like you. Like, I agree with what you said before. Like, I kind of spit the bit. I'll watch every game, but last week when our offense was anemic, I switched over to that Eagles versus Rams game. But I have a question regarding our opponent on Sunday tomorrow with the Saints. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen a NFL team have the offensive and defensive rookie of the year in the same year? Because that might happen this year with Kamara, their running back, and Lattimore, their cornerback.
And throw in the tackle that they drafted as well. They had one of the great drafts you'll ever see. Now, it's only 1 year, so we need to see Lattimore build off it. Same thing with Kamara, who is going to play. They headed out of the ballpark. I mean, there's a big reason why the Saints right now are 9-4 with an excellent chance to not only make the postseason, but make a deep run. Because they didn't have a good draft. They had the potential of an all-time draft. And as good as Kamara is, because it jumps out at you, I know it's tough to compare. Lattimore may be better. I know it's tough to compare a running back to a corner, but they hit, and not even a grand slam. They hit like 4 grand slams. And we'll see if these kids can build off it in year 2, 3, and beyond. So, they turn into and have great careers. But the early returns on this draft has been stupendous. And right now, I'd almost be surprised if those two, Lattimore and Kamara, aren't offensive and defensive rookie of the years. Artie in Brooklyn. What's up, Artie?
Hey, Ev. How's it going, buddy?
Good, man. What's up?
I listened to your interview with Manish, and I don't know. I mean, I love Joe, but I just think sometimes it's just a little bit unfair because I felt like 3 weeks ago I was calling and telling him like to calm down. That's the I wanted to see the young guys, and he's saying let's see where this team goes, and they're going exactly where we all thought they were going. What exactly did Joe think they were going to do? They were going to win 10 games, and then he says like things like they blew this game and they blew this game, and that's what team like. You picked the Jets, for God's sakes, we have the worst offense, and guess what? That worst offense showed up against the Broncos.
Well, let me ask you this, though.
Yes.
After they beat the Bills on the Thursday night, which was really kind of like the pinnacle of the year, they're 4-5, and they're in it. I mean, let's face it, mathematically, they're in it. They're coming off a great win. They beat the Bills. What did you want them to do? I mean,
no, I want them to. Ev, I totally agree. Listen, but the game that they lost to in Tampa was the one that changed me. And I didn't say go again. But once they lost to the Panthers,
right,
that's it. And then I'm also with Bowles. Because I don't want Bowles. But to say that Bowles has done a bad job is not right. He's done bad things. Like, I mean, that was unexcused.
Well, when does the bad, but Artie, when does the bad things add up enough to where you say that's a bad job? You know what I mean?
Okay, I understand. But do you think overall, right now, since you thought they were going to win 2 games, has Todd done a bad job?
I think he's done a lot of bad things throughout this season. I think that not showing up in this game against Denver falls on the coaching. I think allowing his offensive coordinator to wave the white flag late in that game comes back to the head coach. I think the decisions to not use the timeouts at the end of the first half were very, very bad. And we can do that a lot going throughout this season. Do I look at their record at 5-8 and say, I thought they would be 5-8? No, I didn't. I thought they were going to be 1-15. I admit it. But I think the bigger surprise is not that Todd Bowles has done a great job to get them to 5-8. I think it's that they had more talent than I thought. And they had a lot more talent than any of us thought. I mean, look at Robbie Anderson. Just take him right now. Look at Robbie Anderson. Did we think he was going to be this good? Now, the safeties had a lot of potential, right? When you draft Adams in May as high up as you do, you have a lot of faith that these guys can be good players, but they have had really solid rookie years. Did I think Jordan Jenkins would have the year he's had? No. So I think what the big surprise has been to me about this season is that they ended up having a lot more talent than I thought. I'm not screaming and yelling to fire Todd Bowles because, yeah, they're 5-8. And if you look at it from what you thought in August, sure, 5-8 is a lot better than you thought. But what I would tell you with supreme confidence is that I haven't seen enough in the 3 years he's been here to be convinced, to be confident, and to be gung-ho about giving him a contract extension. I would not have that feeling. And I think there have been a lot of bad things done this year. So you want to say he hasn't done a bad job? Okay, I'll say, how many bad things does a head coach need to do before you say, you know what, that kind of adds up? And that's why I said this the other day, and I don't know if there's anything over the next 3 weeks against the Saints, Chargers, and Patriots, 3 teams that are probably going to make the playoffs that will change this. And that's, I would bring him back with next year being a make-or-break year. Because next year will be his 4th season with this football team. If they don't make the playoffs next year, that would mean they are 0 for 4 with Todd Bowles as head coach. Are you then bringing him back for a 5th season? How many times in Jet history have they done that? And the answer is not often. So where I stand right now about Bowles is that I'm not confident in him. I don't fully believe in him. But I would lean towards one more year. One more big year. 10:37.